Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Islands of Insight, where today we're just gonna work out this little pocket enclave that we discovered here. This tiny little set of islands. And I was good. I did all the things I said. I ate, I slept. I'm in theory as alive as I've ever been and ready to do puzzle stuff. Darts count opposite color cells in that direction. Okay, and not necessarily immediately adjacent. So 4 of these 5 cells are dark. It's almost Picross. And let me tell you something. I fucking love Picross. Okay, so we know this is dark because of the 4s pointing to that column and row. So that's interesting. They don't necessarily have to be like adjacent or anything. Yeah, interesting. Y'all, Let me know in the comments if you have played any good Picross games that have come out recently. I would love some of that. I guess this column has to be these two, right? Which means this is definitely light colored. That gives us this column as well. This row is now completed, which means this column is completed, which means these rows are done. Yeah, there you go. Easy. Those are fun. I hope there are a lot more of those. Like a lot more. Yay! Okay. So 5 across. Yeah, this is definitely dark. There's only one non-dark space here. Mixing these with the area numbers is definitely interesting. So if exactly one of these is dark, then this must be light, which means this 4 extends to either here or here, which tells us that these are all dark. They must be, yeah. And that is the one dark space for this row. Okay, what else? We're almost done with this row, the leftmost row. We're almost done with the top column. Nope, other way around. Top column, leftmost row. You know what I'm saying. Okay, you also are only missing 1 block, which means this is dark. And this is dark. This must be light then for the 6. Does that solve anything? It does. It solves this column and tells us that those are both dark. Okay. Then what? There's 1 more dark space in this row. There's 1 more dark space in this column. For the 6, we currently have 3. If we go 4, 5... Yeah, it is possible. It is possible that this is dark. What I was trying to figure out is if we could form a group of 6 light without including this 2x1. And it does look possible because we could go 4, 5, and then either of these could be 6, provided that this 4 extends up here instead of down there, which is the thing we still are not sure of. Let's see, there's 1 more dark cell here. Well, okay, here's something. We know this can't be the dark cell, because then these would both be light, and obviously that ruins everything. So this is light, for sure. That gives us 5 of the 6 cells for this shape. This could be dark, allowing this to be light to be the final cell for that. This could be dark, allowing this to be light for the final cell for the 4. Those are both still legal. What else? I guess, though, one thing we do know for sure is that we are finishing one of the 2 shapes in this space, or in this column. So does that give us anything else interesting to work with? If it does, I don't immediately see it. Oh, okay. So the fact that exactly one of these cells is dark tells us that this 6 shape finishes in one of these cells. So these are definitely both dark. Does that give me the shape of the 4? So one of these two has to be dark, and one of these two has to be dark, and it could be the same cell. Right? It could be like this and this are dark, this and this are light, and that finishes both of the shapes. If this is light, that's an awful lot of information. But I don't currently see a way to prove or disprove it. Oh, okay, sorry. We finished this column now, which tells us that, which tells us this. Okay, yep, I didn't notice that putting the corner down had cleared the leftmost column. Whoa. Whoa now, camera. Okay, yeah, I like those very, very much. Is this going to be a set of those? It is. That rules. Okay. So that's true. And that's true. This has to be a 2. This has to be a 4, of which there's only one way to assemble that. And same deal here. I like it when they're just counting puzzles. All right. So this is the 5 necessitates this being on, which hands us the 1 and all of those. Tells us this is dark for the 3. These ones where they're all strung together are always really easy. And I'm not complaining about that, to be clear. But so, okay. One of the 2 of these, at the very least, has to be on. Maybe both of them. Has to be dark. And if that's the case, then we're extending a dark cell into this column. And as soon as one of them is extended in, the other one has to be. Forced multiples. Tiles covering multiple cells can often have their colors forced by area numbers or darts. Yes, that is definitely true. And again, a thing that we kind of already had to put together to solve that puzzle. Well, I guess let's go to this one. I really like just flying through the air to my puzzles. It's actually very fun. Okay, don't make that pattern. Got it. Nope. Light, dark. It's on the mouse cursor. Okay, easy enough. I should actually look at our XP and stuff. It might be the case that we could be earning more rewards from these. Okay, so don't make that pattern. This is pretty cute, right? So this is the way it sets up here, and then you just have to invert it to avoid that thing. Okay, don't make this pattern. So there's 1 here and 2 here. The 2 have to be non-adjacent. I mean, it's just this, right? So in order to fit 3 in here, it's got to be 2 of them have to be separated out like that. And then these all have to be white. That means one of the 2s is going to be here. The other one is there. And these are all white, of course, to prevent the double up. And then... yeah, easy. Dart pattern Maximus. Avoiding patterns like dominoes or 3 in a row can heavily constrain the way that dart clues can be satisfied. Yeah, that's almost more of like introductory text to that set of puzzles than anything else. Oh, I did something. I sure did glow that. I sure did put up the orb. I have awakened the logic grids with darts. I love a dart. Ooh, what's down here? Nothing, it would seem. How curious. Why is there a path? Very odd. Okay, still not doubling up on dark cells. So These are going to have to alternate for the most part, but there's going to be a gap in the space, a gap in the pattern, right? That one I did not really solve through logic. That was fully just look at it and see the answer fully formed in your brain already. So apologies for that. Aha! There had to be something down here, right? Why else would they have a thing just running down the wall into the dark? Okay, all light cells are connected. All dark regions have area 4. That's interesting. And we know these are both dark. Again, it's right there on the mouse cursor. I don't know how I'm still so bad at that. All right, so these dark areas can't connect to that dark area. This is how these ones look. So this is probably light as well. Yeah, connect all light cells. Yeah, it has to be. We don't click because of probably. Gotta remember the rules. We're here to do a job. So 3 of these 4 are light. Or are dark, rather. What does that tell us? Not a huge amount just yet. We don't really know how this shape grows out into the 4 spaces it grows into. Okay, what else do we know? Well, we know that this pair of white cells has to connect to this 3 somehow. So this is for sure a light cell. And if that's true, even if the connection looks like this, and we don't know for sure that it does, that necessitates these 2 being light because there's not enough space for a dark region back here. So we don't actually know what color that is, but we know these 2 are light no matter what. This one will also be light to allow for connection out into the world. So that's something. This could be dark. It could be part of the shape. Okay, what else? We have 6 cells here, of which 4 are dark. Oh, I guess that actually solves this row for us. And it tells us that must extend up there. So this has to be black to give this room to become a 4 cell. And that'll be light. Okay, what else? One of these 2 is dark. Okay, it can't be this one, right? Because if it is, then this one is light. And then this shape can no longer... well, no, that's not true. I could go 2 dark here and 1 dark there. Or even back there. So actually, never mind. I don't know anything about this. I thought I had figured out that this cell being dark prevented this shape from filling in correctly, but it doesn't. It does not, in fact. Oh, this row is finished. This is going to be a consistent problem for me, where I fail to notice. Okay. So one of these is dark and one of them is light, and we don't know. It's going to depend on how the rest of this works out. Okay, what else do we know? So, a thing we know is that there are 2 dark cells unaccounted for in the leftmost column, 1 in the column next to that, and 1 in the column next to that, although they're a little restricted. If black cells have to exist in groups of 4, then that does tell us some things. Oh, actually, hold on. I guess we also know this, right? This is 2 has to not be blocked off. So that does finish that shape. Okay. It also means this cell is dark for sure, no matter what. We don't know whether the last cell here is which of these it is. So there is an unaccounted for dark shape over here somewhere. This cell might be just the last part of this shape, but there's going to be more cells over here. So we have to figure out where that can live. It is possible that there's as few as one cell of it up here because this could be a dark cell. But actually, no, it's not, right? Like, it would have to be 2 cells here, 1 cell here, and... yeah, it has to have... because there's only room for 1 cell in this column, like, here's what I'm thinking. The cell that is above this dart, the dark cell that's above this dart, can only be this one, I'm pretty sure. Because there's no way for this cell to be dark. Oh, actually, you know, I had come up with like a complicated way of like, there are no shapes that satisfy the space we have left. But I guess also, yeah, the light cells have to get out, which means this is the dark region, which means this gets capped off by white space, which means that has to be white. And now all of a sudden, distributing these dark shapes, these dark cells is a lot easier, right? So, if it's going to be exactly 1 cell here and exactly 2 cells here, it also has to include this to be a region of 4, right? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. But where's the rest of it? Oh, what am I doing? For some reason, I'm looking at this and seeing that there's 1 cell filled in already and thinking that means there's 2 left up here. Like I was already treating this cell as though it was dark in my head, I think. But it absolutely could just be 3 cells up here. And then like these are both light, so all of the white cells connect. There's the last shape, meaning this is white. And yeah, I basically was like double deducting from the 4 already. Ah, a master of logic grids has appeared before us. Let's excuse ourselves from this fool's presence. Not my favorite hat. That's, in case you were wondering how I decided that person was a fool. It was the hat, mostly. Okay. No doubling up dark cells. All the light cells must be connected. Those 2 things are almost always going to... it's very easy to connect all the light cells if the dark cells can't touch each other. So yeah, this is necessarily the way the 3 fills in. I guess I don't know about that. But we do know about this. So yeah, this has to be light because otherwise this whole shape will get trapped. What else? What else? What else? I guess here, these are the 3 that must be dark in this column. And we have the same thing happening here where the cell in the corner needs to reach out to everything else. Okay, dark cells can't be adjacent to each other. Tells us that the 2 cells here have to be distributed like this. Because if this cell could be in the far corner... well, no, never mind. I was going to say it traps this light cell away from connecting to the... but, like, the thing the cell is trapped against is other light cells. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What else do we know? Well, I guess this actually technically this has to be light. No, it doesn't. We could connect the light cells to everything else out through this way. So we don't know that yet. It's probably true, but we don't know it. Probably true is insufficiently true. So there's still a lot of room left here. Yeah, how do we know? This is a little tricky. There's a lot of room for these dark cells to exist in. So for these couple of twos here, like the two down here, the two right here, it is possible for both of them to exist north of the, like, you know, on one side of the other dart, or it could be one on the other side of the dart and one in any remaining square. And I don't immediately see anything that rules any of those configurations out, because we have very healthy connectedness now with the white cells. This column only needs one more cell, as does this row here, which means that, I mean, it kind of means nothing, right? It means there sure are a lot of cells out there that could be absolutely anything. But there's probably something fairly obvious that I'm missing. Like, this could still be dark because the white cells could connect through the bottom corner. This could still be dark because the white cells could connect through the left side here. Yeah, the most restricted space is this row. But unfortunately, we just don't know. There are two different arrangements here, and they both, for the moment, look like they work just fine. Everywhere else, there are even more possibilities that all seem to work just fine. So what is the thing that's ruled out? Again, light cell connectedness is super good. Like, everything is touching a light cell. And that means that we can't use this this rule to rule out basically anything. Everything could still connect via a bunch of different spaces. You know what? I'm going to step away from this for a second. We have lots of other puzzles in the area. Also, a lore node. Let's look at some of this stuff. We'll come back to it. Eloi the Scholar. Is this a voice we've heard before? I have gazed at the fracture from many places across these lands, but it looks the same from everywhere I have stood. It must be incredibly far away and unfathomably large. Disconcerting. Alright, how big is this boundary? Oh, okay. So, you know, honestly, this puzzle may very well be why there's like why there are weird hidden walkways and stuff, because good place to put relics. I am very clumsy. Also, apparently developing the hiccups. That's no good. I don't want that. And I got credit for that one, even though I only saw it for like a quarter of a second. Aha. All right, where is the last one? All right, well, it seems like it's probably not just hanging off the bottom of the island. I think it was worth looking. Okay, and I dove right off this platform immediately, but there's no reason to think there couldn't be one up here. Okay, like I was saying, let's have a quick look at our upgrades. Because, like, I probably have... Yeah, I have a lot of money saved up. Is there anything that we want to pull? More hints is not terribly exciting. Oh, apparently I do have grid flood paint. I'd been... Whatever, I'd been acting like I don't. You know what? We're going to want this eventually, and also I do think it's pretty good. I don't know that I guess it's not maybe relevant right now. Solve a logic grid, a pattern grid, or match 3 without screwing up and get extra stuff. I never put down map markers. Maybe I should. Yeah, none of this stuff is like super relevant, and a lot of these are like bonuses for puzzle types that we never see. Echo resonance is a cute idea. I guess. Let me buy some perfection bonuses. That's something, right? And then we can pick up... We can open up the path to some of this stuff for later. Crystal labyrinths are tricky, and we don't see a lot of them. Shifting mosaic puzzles. Hold left controlling grids to highlight the region and count. I mean, whatever. We'll grab this too. In an area where we are doing sentinel stones, this I think is actually kind of a useful upgrade. This gives you the ability to see them through each other. Okay. There are 4 flow orbs, and they're all across the islands. Alright, let's do it. "24 seconds, huh?" Uh-oh. Wait, was that 24? Hold on. Okay, 19 is the actual. I wish it would show you the, like, the good time. Well... So I did sort of a Z shape. I don't know, like, is going around them going to be better? I guess the idea is like you would avoid traveling the largest distance, right? So maybe we would start... Is the largest distance that one? Maybe. So we start here and we go like around. This is the highest island, so it's got to be... Or it's the one where the flow orb is the highest anyway, so it feels like this has got to be first. Alright, we'll give this one more try. Did I do this wrong? This was not the plan. Restart. Okay. Maybe I can... Nope, that's pretty bad. Yeah, okay, let's try it like this. Not having to climb at all definitely helps. There we go. All right, we'll come back to that puzzle that we haven't finished yet before we leave the area, but let's do this now. Well, probably they'll just put me... Yeah. Oh no, they put me back on the last ground I stood on correctly. All right, well then let me utilize the jump jet over here. Okay. What puzzles are there on this island? Oh, this is fun. Okay, so those must all be dark to leave us with one in this area. That's fun. What else? What else? What else? These are all light by the same logic. All the dark cells and all the light cells have to connect. Sorry, all the dark cells have to connect and all the light cells have to connect is what I mean. That's going to be harder for the dark cells for sure. Guess we know that. What else do we know? If this is the dark cell in this row, it does create one that's like kind of difficult to connect. That doesn't mean that it's not right. So 4 of these 5. If this one's dark, then so are all of these. Which is still possible. Right, and then it just like spirals up to connect to... Yeah, could be, could be. Can we prove? No, we can't really prove anything about these because none of the darts are looking at this or any of the cells in this row at this point. With this one here, if this is dark and this is light, it's a little awkward, but it could still be the case that the dark cells connect like all the way through the bottom. Right, and then you get a snake of them up to here. And in fact, looking at the way this is shaped, it does feel a little bit like that is exactly how this is built. Yeah, maybe. Well, okay, but they can't both be true, right? It can't be the case that there's a dark shape that runs a spiral up this way, and also this is dark and it runs up this way, because this thing needs to be able to put some light squares down. Okay, well how about this? This has 3 dark cells to the left of it, which means it has 2 light cells to the left of it, which means one of these 3 must be dark. Even in the case where there were 2 light cells, where both the light cells are in this area, there's still a dark cell in this area, and that means it can't be this or this, because if it was, it would be blocked off. So these are the light cells for sure, which means that is a light cell, which means those are all the dark cells in that row, and these are all the dark cells in this row. There we go. That's something. So it may be the case that the dark cells on the bottom connect up via this side, or down via this side, or both, I suppose. It could be. Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to say. So the same logic does not apply as meaningfully in this row, because here a black cell in that space or that space is still connected to the larger group, potentially. It's sort of just a matter of where the connection runs. So if this cell's dark, then the dark connection runs down here. If this cell's dark, we can do a connection all the way up through the top of the map. And there's really no reason that that couldn't be right. Okay, what else am I missing? One of you two. One of you two. Two of you 5, which is not super useful. Yeah, it really isn't, is it? Because, like, it's totally possible that it could be... These are both light. And there's dark, like... here and here. And even though that's a huge pain in the ass, it still probably connects. Well, okay. We know this isn't right, actually, because this connection would require both of these to be dark to run down here. So I guess we know that this isn't right. But I think that's the only arrangement we can rule out. Anything that requires a connection through the top of the puzzle requires a connection through here. Because we can't run black cells through the Z curve. But that's still a pretty non-specific answer. Well, you know what? I do I've said that thing where I was like, well, this will only matter for the dark cells because obviously all the light cells will connect easily. And so I haven't been thinking about, all the light cells do have to connect, but actually that does give us this information. Because otherwise this cell could be blocked off. Does it do anything else for us immediately? Not really. These two can connect to this from here or here. Obviously, if this is a light cell, that makes things very easy. But even if it's a dark cell, it's still possible to run the connection, and yeah. So this is going to have to connect to that, right? No matter what, this white 3 connects to this white 1. It could be that the black cell in this row is here and the white connects all the way around. No, it couldn't be. That would be an isolated black cell. So this does have to be white then. Yeah, that's the only way we keep everything from separating. Okay, that's something. That's something. And since this way is all closed off, we know that the dark cells here have to connect through this lower path to everything else. So that's interesting too. This could still be either light or dark, although life is a lot easier if it's light. If it is dark, what can we do? Well, okay, so if this is dark, then this has to be light. Because if this is dark, this big shape in the middle is actually trapped, right? Either that's dark, which is illegal, or this is light, which means both of these dark, which is illegal. Or both of these are dark, which is illegal. So that must be a light cell. This must be the 3 dark cells. Yep. Okay, and then we know that one of these two is dark because the darkness has to connect up through here. My life's a lot easier if it's like this. Well, I guess actually, so we know this because the 3 has to be able to reach up to connect to the other tiles, as does the 1. And then once you're there, the 2 has to connect to the 4, which could happen. Well, it has to happen like this. This can't be black for the same reason this couldn't be black, because you can't loop the white around and leave the black cell isolated. And then once you're there, if there were black cells over here anywhere, they would have to come up and slice. Like the white has to be able to connect across the top here. So I think this is the only valid arrangement for these cells. Yeah. Yep, no, I got it. If a dart lies on the path of another dart, they're talking about the same cells. That's a cool one. I enjoyed that. Took me a little longer to do than mayhap it should have, but... Alright, so that's easy. The dark cells all have to connect. Well, it definitely inclines me to think that this is the other dark cell in this row. At least one of these two will have to be dark. Okay, let's say this was light and this was dark. Is there any way for this to connect via the very low number of dark cells we are allowed for this puzzle? You'd have to be like a row of dark here, then dark, dark, dark. No, I think this is the only legal lineup because, like, that's the only way to draw the dark cells so that all the numbers are correct and they're all touching. Right, at first I was thinking about, like, you could do like a thing where you stepped the 2s. But the problem is, in this row, one of the dark cells has to be connecting, whichever one of these is dark, and the other one has to be in one of these spots. Yeah, the only place you can build the bridge is at the bottom. Huzzah! All the dark cells get connected. That's fairly straightforward. These 2 are dark. I did for a second there trip up on the fact that I was like, well, that doesn't say enough cells, but right, they can be elsewhere. All right, so that's got to be true. Oh, is this finally one where you're doing the step pattern? I think it is. Hey, look, I'm remembering to use my paints. Oh, this one's got a difficulty, the high difficulty star on it, although only one of them. All right. Dark cells all connect, don't make any black 2x2s. Interesting. So we have a couple of 5s, a couple of 1s. How do I start this? Okay, well, all the dark cells have to be connected, right? Which means that the 2 1s have to be touching. And they have to be touching cells that are on the north and south of them as well. So it has to be in one of the 4 columns, right? There's a spot here where there's a bridge between the dark cells in the bottom and the dark cells in the top. Yeah, that's the only way that could possibly work. So that does tell us right away that all of these tiles are light. I can't do a ton with that just yet, but we'll get there. So most of these tiles are dark. Most of these tiles are dark. In this column, there is only enough room to connect. Yeah, there's only enough room to connect the dark line through the middle over to the rightmost column. The other 4 column will be both the top and bottom squares are dark, because obviously the other squares in the middle rows have to be white. So does that necessitate, like, these could be the 4 dark column, or the 4 dark ones, to clear out these rows, and then you could go like dark square here and dark square there and connect up however makes sense up here. The position of the 5s is interesting for sure. I wonder. It's a little hard to draw it all out in my head. But also, you know, we do have a reward incentive for figuring these out without getting any of the drawing wrong. You know what I could do? Hold on a second. Let me bring back a tool that we haven't used in a minute. I hope this will still work the way I would like. I'll put it up here for right now, and then swap to this camera. Okay. Yeah, remember we got our screen drawing tool. Gosh, it does remind me that I need to finish that crab game. So let's say these are dark, right? Then this cell and this cell must be dark for the 2s here to work. These cells will be dark here to allow for the 1s to fill in the rest of the row like that. Very professional art skills here. And then like this can be yeah, this can be distributed however you want. Basically, like, one of the outside corners is going to be light colored. And then over here you have 3 and 2. So you're going to want to fill in like this. No, you're going to want to fill in this. Can I... The erasers... Yeah, okay. It's not what I meant, just normal drawing mode. Where's... Okay. Yeah. So, right, because you have to create a situation where there can be an empty space on this line. But see, this creates trouble. This can't work. There's no way to only have 3 dark spaces in the top row. And then this is also going to put a dark one here. So wait, what if we do this? Right, that's the 3. Now there's only 3 dark spaces in the top row. That's not so complicated, actually. But it causes the problem over here too, right? Where like yeah, necessarily we will be filling in 4 spaces in one of these rows. So I think it ends up being the case that we must build the 4 column on this side, because that allows us to get it. So if we clear this completely, trash. If we draw the 4 column on this side, the existence of the 3 column close to us allows us to sort of like get the dark out of the way very quickly of the 3 row. And then here it's like this and like this. That's the last light spot for this row here, but that works out just fine because with this column being at the top and bottom, we can put the dark cells for this 2 column anywhere we want them to be, which is actually really important. So we do that, and then for the 3, we draw like this. And there you go. Does that count as not having made a mistake if I had to, draw it out on a different piece of paper and just make the mistake there? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, I clicked on the drawing. It is a useful little thing to have, though, isn't it? Wait. I went and still made a mistake, even though I planned it out, because I didn't notice that I made a mistake in my planning it out, but it's fine. Oh, okay. And then there's a way to unlock. Oh, whatever. I can do this. Clear the screen. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to be just a little bit clumsy with it because it's been a while since we used it. But all right. So there is another column of these puzzles over here. Well, that one doesn't seem very hard. Right, and then that makes this light, which makes that dark, which makes this light. Yeah. Darks can be filled in immediately if they are, 0 or the maximum. I hesitate to call that an insight, but to the degree that it is an insight, it is one that comes very naturally and quickly from having played a lot of Picross. Or nonograms, I guess. I think Picross is like a branded name, maybe, or something like that. Okay, so these have to be dark. That was the only dark one in this row. So that makes those both dark, which makes these all light, which makes this dark, and those all light. It is kind of neat how every time you do a brush stroke, it makes a little happy noise. Is it of critical import that we get more sparks for finishing these puzzles? No, not even a little bit. You might be forgiven for saying that it doesn't matter at all, actually. So I don't need to stress about this. Okay. Easy and fun. There are 2 puzzles remaining in this area, and we actually know where they both are. One of them is right there. And the other one we will return to presently. Okay. Letters got to sort, but yeah. Okay. Aside from that, pretty straightforward. So we know that, which means the A is going to have to connect through one of these 2 to get to where it's going. So the darkness here is the outsides and one of the connection spots. Then the B similarly is going to have to be able to connect through, and that'll be the one square that isn't lit on this 4. What else do we know? This 2 could, in theory, be part of the bridge for B. Can't really rule that out yet. I guess with the B, we know one of these 2 is dark. One of the direct connections is dark and the other one is light, which means that one of the outer cells is dark and the other one is light, and that's necessary for the A to pass through as well. Huh. But then only one of them passes through this column? Oh no, sorry, something can connect through the set of white cells at the top. Yeah. So the B connection could run through the white cells at the top and down to there. And the A connection could just be like... The A connection would have to run the other direction, obviously. So... what do we know about how this has to work? It really could be either A or B connecting through the top. It doesn't, as far as I can see right now, it doesn't matter which. Oh. Nope, never mind. I forgot for a second about... I was looking at this and I was like, hey, there's already one light cell down here. But that's not what these are counting. So 2 dark cells... Okay, let's see here. A connects to one of these. Let's say the bottom one. B connects up here. You know what time it is. I'm just gonna do a little drawing here. So let's say we have let's say we have A connect low and B connect high. Then I guess this will be the second dark space. And the idea is A runs through like this. B connects to there, and then you could just like drop the connection straight from the top. And that seems, I don't know, pretty doable, right? This whole thing is black. This only has one black square, but it doesn't super matter, right? Like, as long as we do this to ensure that it can't possibly connect to the B. Yeah, and then this is white, and 2 of the cells down here are black, and it doesn't matter at all. Right? I think that's legal. The A shape is completely enclosed by black squares, so it can't touch the B shape. It looks like the numbers of things are correct. Oh, 2 black, whatever, this is fine. My concern is that really a unique solution? Could I not have done it the other way? Have B run down here. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't feel like a unique solution to me. Whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, let's get over here and knock out this last one. I don't remember what the button is to unlock the cursor for for clicking on the thing, so I have to get us back to a screen where we have a cursor before I can do that. Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff here that is correct that we know. This says it's a 2 difficulty, which makes me think I must be missing something really, really obvious. What am I missing that's obvious? Okay, well, yeah, so there is some stuff I'm missing that's obvious. Oh, never mind. The reason I said that was, like, in my head, I was thinking of this as another connect all the light cells, connect all the dark cells patterns, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, actually, there are a lot of places where you can't put the dark cell, because how's it going to connect to all of its other friends? But in fact, that's exactly what we do not want to happen on this puzzle. So, all right, if this and this are dark, then do we have valid arrangements of dark cells in the row above this? Yes, absolutely. These 3 spaces are all still valid. If, on the other hand, it's cells like 1 and 3 here, 0 indexing, 1 and 3 here that are dark, then these 2 cells can't be dark, which means this row can't be completed. So this has to be the way this row is laid out. Yeah, okay, that is something. That is something meaningful. If all the light cells are connected, then this has to be a light color to get that corner clear, which gives us that. Nope. Hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on. This is a problem. All of that is true. This must be light. And this must be light. Which cannot be the case. Was I wrong here? Like, if I put the dark cells down like this, there's no way to put 2 dark cells to the right of this without making that pattern. Yeah. But if I put them down here, it actually still is a huge problem. Because these have to be light, and so does this, to avoid making that pattern. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. This does have to be true. What am I missing here? All of a sudden, this corner looks impossible, and I feel relatively confident that it's not impossible. But if there are 2 dark cells to the right of this number, there are only because there are not only 2 ways they can be arranged. I was thinking you have to give them a gap of 1, but you could give them a gap of 2. Yep. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to before the undo, or before the restart. I feel a little silly. Yes, you can give them a gap of 2. And that means these 2 cells have to be white to protect against the double up. Those 2 cells are black, and that actually works just fine. Yeah, that's the problem I was having. Okay, and now we know that the only way this right side can connect into the middle is through this cell here. Tremendously important. Okay, so is there a similar... sorry, we know this is white to prevent the double up. So one of these two is going to be dark. If it's this one... then... well, okay, so this can't be dark because it has to connect that out. Which means this is the only way this column can work. Which means this has to be white to connect that out. Now that this cell is dark, connecting the top into the middle requires that square to be white, and then this also has to be white. And then that has to be white. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I feel a little silly, but eventually we completed our cascading rays. I got there. And the thing is, if you're having some, like, difficulty with a puzzle in a video game, it is not actually sensible to feel silly about it. It's not a big enough deal. I just, like, I beat myself up somewhat unreasonably sometimes. Part of me wants to go back to the enclave that we were just in. But another part of me wants to see if I can make it over there. I think we're in the best possible spot for the attempt. Might even try off of this dog, I guess. Here we go. Wings don't fail me now. There are lots of different wings you can unlock. I think these ones are actually really nice. It's just like some of the earliest available ones. I think part of the problem with a lot of the ones that you can unlock is that they are more or less solid colored. And I like the way the color flows out and changes on these ones. I think it's very pretty. So it does look like we're going to make it. The charge jump does the work once again. Actually, I'm starting to get a little worried. No, we're cool. We're good. We're fine. Right? We're good. We're fine. This looks like hidden pentads. The trick of the wanderer. What is faster than flight? The answer, not a goddamn thing. Clever seeker indeed. Oh, the island's making weird noises at me. So there's a wandering echo, there's a couple of pentads and a couple of archways. There is not much going on this island. Let's hit the lore fragment. She sounds concerned. This voice could not be coming from my own head. My thoughts are seldom enough to entertain me. I want to listen more, but I should sleep a little longer. This is a fine place to rest. So the she there would be the auroral, right? I guess that's the wandering... No, that's like a flow orb. Or I guess it could be a pentad. It could be the top of a pentad thing. Are these islands all part of the same enclave? I think they are. What is the deal with that one? That one might not be. That one might be something else. You know what? Let me actually work out the puzzle that we're here on this island with before we go running off. All right, find me some relics. That was surprisingly hard to click on. It turns out if there are any leaves between your cursor and the relic, you're clicking on the leaves, not the relic. I have to say I'm a little surprised by the sort of like the quality and the environmental persistence of the foliage in this game. They have done more with their trees. than need be done traditionally. I'm very sensitive to trickery with like things hanging off the side of the land masses, and they haven't really done that very much yet. No, certainly not enough to justify all of my paranoia. It's just like, when it does happen, I really don't want to get got by it, and that's going to make it so much more embarrassing when I absolutely do. Okay, this is the only obvious puzzle on this island, which is weird because it's kind of a big island for that. You know, in terms of this game. It's not a big island in a general sense, but in this game, they really pack the puzzles in tight in most areas. Alright, we have spent 0 time exploring this island and don't really even know kind of the general shape of things yet. Aha! Look at that. Told you I wouldn't get caught by it. I mean, even in that case, right, there was a walkable path that leads you to look right at it. I do feel like they try to play quite fair. Oh. Interesting. That hidden archway teleports us. And that one didn't count until I went through it the second time. That's strange. This game is full of a lot of like kind of weird stuff. Oh, hey, there's the Wandering Echo. All right, don't get excited yet, friend. I will be right with you. Okay, so there's 2 relics left. And I feel like at this point we've been on sort of like all of the major land areas. That one's just kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it definitely feels like a look-up problem. Although maybe not with this last one. Doesn't appear to be up on the tallest thing we can see. I'm a little surprised that it's not on the statue at all. It's kind of what I was expecting. But I guess that's a really good reason by itself not to do that. There's that upgrade for this puzzle type that does, once you've found 4 of them, it does like a slowly decreasing shrink on the last one until you cannot help but find it. And gosh, sometimes I think that sure would be a neat thing to have. But also, I do feel it kind of like... I don't know, I don't want to say it trivializes the puzzles or anything. I think that would be overstating it, but... I don't know, like inarguably it makes them a lot easier. Trying to make sure I'm not missing anything like on the ground around the foliage. But no, I just don't see it. All right, well, out of curiosity, where's that upgrade? It was around here. It was around here somewhere. Okay, it's this one. It requires you to be level 24, which we are not. I guess it's kind of hard to see that right now, but there we go. Thought it was worth a look. Holy crap, that thing's really traveling. Ah. I was kind of hoping it would take me around to a location that would cause me to like sort of see the area from a different angle, but it's going well outside of this puzzle for sure. Okay, well, I'm confident in my inspection of the bottom parts of these rocks. The thing is not down there. It could be tucked under something where it would only be visible, like actually looking upward. It's a thing I'm not always great at. There's also just not that much stuff to look under. Ah! Well, whatever. We activated it. I guess let's go. I wonder, does this have a, does this island have a fast movement chute? Ow. No. Okay, so it's not a thing where you're supposed to bounce from one place to the other. Oh, you're supposed to use the gateway, probably. Because this seems impossible under normal timing. But if you have a teleport, you probably want to go through it the other way, is the important step. Ah, that thing is really sensitive. No, what a terrible time for a burst of lag. What the hell? Now there isn't a teleporter that we're aware of that does that job. But you could fall back, I suppose, and hit the speed booster. Oh, I was guessing it was going to end up on this island. It was going to, lead us on a merry goose chase, but perhaps we need to follow it a little bit more closely before making such an assumption. This is a clever one. I like this. Oh, no fair. Nope, that doesn't take you anywhere useful. I feel like I got that. Well, shit. I accidentally stepped on the jump backwards pad. Well, now I don't know where we are. You race behind a dancing orb, spiriting and eluding. So the trick of the Wanderer is the intended entrance to that, and we've almost done the stuff to be allowed to use the normal teleporter to reach it. It's not quite unlocked. Ugh. Annoying. The memory is fleeting. Is it even my own? A sky in the distance torn open. A world within my world. Or my world within another world. And then all I ever was erased. Yeah, Obley's having a lot of difficult, conceptual, existential times. Can I tell you? I'm bummed out. I really wanted to finish that Enclave as the end of the episode. But sadly, I accidentally jump padded us out of there. When you come back next time, we will find our way back. There's lots of other stuff to do too, but we will find our way back. We'll finish that. We'll probably do that Matchbox one. That seems important. Listen, we have no shortage of things to get to. So come back for that, and we'll see you then.